We knew that we had some mature players. They performed well, but they brought in several young players along with them, and I really like the cohesiveness of this group.
Starting out 10-0 last season, playing some really big-time games, having College game day here, playoff implications. What's the value of that experience heading into this season?
I think our brand has gone nationwide. People recognize us from coast to coast. Our players, the organization, the people involved take a lot of pride in Oklahoma State football, and we've come a long ways. I said after the 2010 season, we're finally starting to build some tradition here in football. We continue to make strides each year moving in that direction.
Mason Rudolph, this is his third season with starting experience. How confident are you with him?
Well, I feel very good about Mason. In fact, I had a meeting with him this morning, and we just had discussions about the team and the direction that we need to go and how he wanted to get to where he needed to be as an individual in order to help our team have success.
That backup quarterback role being battled out right now by John Kolar and Taylor Cornelius, what strengths do you see in those guys?
Well, Taylor is more of a pro-style player, had a really good spring, played well in the spring game. Kolar practiced well, practices 8 through 14, was average in the spring game, a little more of a running type of quarterback, kind of like J.W. Walsh. But I like where they're at. They've both made strides considerably since we ended the season.
The run game's been a hot topic. Chris Carson has had a lot of buzz around him involving his improvements. What have you seen from Chris?
I think Chris ran really hard this spring. But more importantly, I thought our offensive line covered up the defenders better than we have in 2 years. We've had to make cuts in the backfield at the running back position, which in most cases is not going to allow you to have much success. And Chris has worked hard. We've talked to the offense about it. It's the one area that we need to improve. And as we improve in that area, it'll help us throw the football down the field.
Is there an area right now that you're most confident in this team?
Well, I'm confident in our wide receiver group. There's a lot of experience. We've got a number of guys that have played over 20 games. I like where Mason Rudolph is. And kind of surprisingly to some people, I like where our offensive line is. As I watch spring practice, I can see that they're considerably better than they were at the end of the year last year.
Wide receiver group that you mentioned, there's really guys that have so many different styles, and for Mason to have so many different weapons to use, how big of an advantage is that for a quarterback?
Well, it's a big advantage when he can get the ball in hands of players that can make a guy miss on defense and turn a 5-yard gain into a 15-yard gain. And then we have down the field threats when you talk about Seals and Washington and what Aitman has done down the field. And then McCleskey's got great speed. So I think we have a really good balance at that group. I really like how some of the young guys have come on at the defensive end spot. And I mention that because losing Bean and Ogball is a big part of our defense. Ramon Richards has stepped up and helping us in the secondary. We have quite a bit of experience at the linebacker spot. So our team's kind of going to go on how our defensive ends progress as we get into the month of October.